This year's 16 days of activism of no violence against women and children has ended, but the abuse seems to be escalating. The Commission for Gender Equality says generally the country is experiencing more brutal forms of abuse from perpetrators. Joining us now in studio is the chairperson of the Commission, Mfanozelwe Shozi. Good to have you, Mfano. Thank you for being our guest here on the program.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
You know, I don't know what to say. You know, we've ended these 16 days, and here we are reporting that the situation is just getting worse. What's going on? What's at the root of this?
The root of this, when we go around, I think one of the issues that we're picking up, more especially from the Eastern Cape, is the issue of alcohol abuse. We must not turn a blind eye on that. The other one is the neglect of children as well. Parents, they leave their children. The other critical matter for us is around the issue, the intersection of race, gender, and so on. We've had an engagement, more especially in Limpopo, with white farmers and so on, to address some of those issues, because there are other intersections as well. Other issues are socio-economic issues as well. Others are also related to service delivery, where you find that, for example, in the Eastern Cape, there are no access roads when people have been beaten up and so on. They cannot reach the health facilities and so on. Others, the issues of impunity, when somebody has actually done this and is not arrested, and therefore police must actually move faster to arrest these people. Others are also issues that relate to hate crimes and so on. The issues that relate to LGBTI. For example, in Watema, we had a workshop, and LGBTI community raised a number of issues around on how we should actually deal with this. The other issue is around issues of attitudes. More especially, men need to be involved in this, because most of the perpetrators in this are men. There are very few men who are also abused, but I think the perpetrators are men. I think we need to do something around that, educating men about these issues. So there is a myriad of issues, a variety of issues.
It seems like that, and it's horrible to always speak this way, because it's not all men. It really isn't all men that do this. But the men that we're focusing in on, it's almost like they take out their frustrations on the more vulnerable members of our society, and that of course is a woman and a child. They can't fight back. They're not as strong as women, as a man. And you know what you're talking about is social conditions where there are no jobs. Perhaps it's the money, it's the frustration, the anger, and they take it out on whoever is closest to them, nearest, and who is not going to fight back. Does that read to what's happening in the core of our society? Is that joblessness, money, turning to abuse in terms of trying to make themselves feel better? I don't know. I'm trying to clutch at straws here. Those
are some of the factors, but others are rooted at patriarchy and the society that we're coming from, where we've been as a country and so on, the misogyny of men and so on. So those are the issues that we need to unbundle. Those are the issues that we really need to actually tackle the root causes of some of this, and how we raise our children. I think there are social institutions like the family, the faith-based organizations, the schools as well. We must also teach them about how they should actually coexist and live together in a peaceful and harmony manner.
Yeah, and also, I mean, young boys, if they're living in an environment where their father is hitting their mother and their sisters, they're going to learn, and they're going to do exactly the same thing. So what happens inside the home is of vital importance, not only what happens in the school. Now, we saw that our president actually declared violence against women and children a priority by government. What does this mean?
For us, it means that all government departments, it should not only be a priority for one government department. All government departments prioritize this, and even the private sector is also important, because sexual harassment is also rife at private institutions, and therefore it needs to be also tackled. So gender-based violence is across it, in the private and the public spheres, and that's why it's important for all of us to deal with this. At the university levels as well, we've just called universities 2 weeks ago to appear before the Gender Commission. Gender-based violence, rape, sexual harassment, and so on, is also rife. And I think even institutions of higher learning needs to actually tackle this, because it's really, really a problem. And I think we need to have a national action plan on how we should deal with gender-based violence. We also need to have our own sectoral action plans as institutions on how we should actually deal with gender-based, and act on that particular plan. Also, we have very good acts in South Africa. We must make sure that whoever is responsible for implementing gender-based violence acts, the domestic violence, the maintenance act, the customary marriages act, they must implement those so that at least we are able to arrest some of these issues.
Yeah. You know, what really upsets me as well is that, you know, there were days gone by when, yes, your perpetrator got upset, gave you a smack, you got a black eye, and you went away and you covered it up with makeup. But these days, it's not that simple. These attacks are becoming more and more brutal. And that is also something that needs to be spoken about. Why? Why are the crimes becoming more violent, more brutal to the women and children?
You see, when you speak to the perpetrators, they can't even explain this. When you work with the Department of Correctional Services, try to find out people have been convicted on why this has actually become so brutal. There are no one answers to this particular problem. But I think all of us will agree that it has actually become so brutal. Women are being killed. It's not only being killed by people that they know. Even in the streets, women are also harassed. Maybe you see the Uber harassment of one of the passengers and so on. Yeah. So those are some of the issues. And we also need to actually implement. For example, there is a Protection of Harassment Act in South Africa, which I don't think that people are aware of, and I think it needs to be publicized. People should know about it so that at least that harassment even happen outside the homes, people who are able to deal with it.
Yeah. Do you also, I mean, when you say it obviously does involve all sectors of community and the justice system, because you will see that these perpetrators walk free. They, you know, their papers are lost, or the case is thrown out, or they wait for so long to get the trial, and you know, and eventually it just fades away and they're back doing the same things. Is there a big problem with the justice system?
No, there is a problem in terms of finalization of cases and how those cases take, and also the fatigue of witnesses to come and actually testify, and how the perpetrators try to circumvent the justice system. For example, where a perpetrator who was in court for 7 years in Mpumalanga, and the Commission for Gender Equality intervened. That perpetrator, for example, shot the wife and left her on the road, hoping that he was going to die. Miraculously, the woman did not die.
Yeah.
And this man is a rich man and was able to actually circumvent, had made so many postponements and so on. Then the Gender Commission intervened and was able to be actually apprehended. Although he got 15 years and 5 years for kidnapping and 15 years for attempted murder. But I think there are so many of those cases, and therefore the justice system should actually come to the party. The police must do investigation. The prosecutors as well must be able to assist women. I think we also need the Justice College as well must also provide gender-friendly training to the judiciary, to the magistrates. I know that our learned friends, the judges sometimes will say that they cannot be trained, but I think we need to have workshops around sensitizing the justice system around the gender equality and the brutality that surrounds some of this, so that at least when they actually sentence these people, they can actually punish them so that we don't see them in society.
Absolutely. Let's leave it there for this morning. Well, Chairperson of the Commission for Gender Equality, talking to us here on the program, Mfanozelwe Shozi, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.